Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and today it is December 8th. Gonna be December 9th soon. Should be done with this video before it's December 9th though. And it is day 2 of winter meetings, or I should say day 2 is now over. There's a ton of rumors going around baseball and a ton of rumors going around the Yankees right now. The Yankees are in a kind of a weird spot. Brian Cashman said that he feels that they're in a better spot than they were last year. So we'll see what he means by that. We'll see if that means he's not expecting to make many moves or he's expecting to change it up, a little bit and not do as much as we did last offseason, which I don't think we need to do as much as we did last offseason. So the Yankees are in a good spot, but there's definitely like a couple areas they need to improve. But we'll get right into the rumors. So first things first, as I've been saying, as we all have been saying for the past couple of weeks, Cody Bellinger is still the number one option. The Yankees are still pursuing Cody Bellinger hard. They're currently, in a battle with other teams. Today there was better news than, the last couple of days. It does seem like they are getting closer to agreement on a contract. They talked to Boris about multiple of his agents, not just Cody Bellinger, but mainly for Cody Bellinger. And it seems like they're getting closer and closer to agreeing to a contract. I know teams like the Mets and the Dodgers are still definitely after him, and the Blue Jays are. Those are, fortunately, the Mets, Dodgers, and Blue Jays can all offer him a lot more money if they really wanted to. So I think Cody Bellinger returning is going to be for a ton of money, of course, but he will definitely be leaving money on the table elsewhere to come back to the Yankees. So my only true worry as of now is the Dodgers. I'm not really worried about the Mets or the Blue Jays. I don't think Cody decides to go that route. I think it's going to be either the Yankees or, return to the Dodgers, because I'm sure he wants to win a championship and he knows that team has the best possibility of winning a championship. But there was also rumors about starting pitching. Brian Cashman himself today said he's not afraid to add more starting pitching. Returning injuries like Rodon, Cole, and Schmidt will not steer him away from getting additions to the starting rotation. Does that mean we're going to go out and sign Tutsaya Imai? Probably not. I don't see that happening anymore. I think the money is going to be a little bit too much for where the Yankees want to sit at. And again, he would be another scenario where he wanted to play for the Yankees, and he didn't state that. He just stated that he didn't want to play for the Dodgers. So I feel like it's very unlikely the Yankees do go that route. It's much more likely that they go in the trade route. They've been talking about Sandy Alcantara, Edward Cabrera, both from the Marlins, and the most hot thing right now for the Yankees, I think, for the entirety, is Mackenzie Gore. It seems most likely that Mackenzie Gore will be traded during the winter meetings. Most MLB executives agree with that. They think he's going to be traded. The Nationals really aren't in a spot to win. Definitely not now, and not really the next couple of years. They definitely have a good group of players there, but definitely not. They're nowhere near the playoffs, let alone a World Series. So I think trading off Mackenzie Gore now will fit them well. Mackenzie Gore is nice, man. Let me give you his stats up here. I'll post them on the screen. You might, but for myself. So last year in 2025, Mackenzie Gore had a 3 WAR. He had 5 wins and 15 losses. The Nationals were awful when he was on the mound. He had a 4.17 ERA, which obviously, isn't the best, but you have to look past the ERA. You have to understand the Nationals defensively last year also were terrible. So yes, errors don't go against his ERA, but some plays that could have been made by other teams around baseball weren't made for Mackenzie Gore. So it was 30 starts. It was 160 innings pitched, 159.2. What I really like is the 185 strikeouts. And I believe he only had, it doesn't show the stat here, but I think he only had 78 walks. That is an insane strikeout to walk ratio. He pounds the zone and he throws hard. He strikes guys out, which is very, very, very good for the Yankees. That's exactly what the Yankees need. Cole and Rodon and even Fried have kind of gotten away from the strikeouts, and it works for them now. Cole was a little more strikeout heavy than the other two, but Rodon knows he's not throwing 98, 99 every single time. Same with Fried. Even he last year started to get away from it a little bit, realizing that throwing 99 or max power every single pitch is not good for you in the long run. But having a young guy like Mackenzie Gore on the mound to do that, to overpower people, would be awesome. I feel like he would work very well with Matt Blake. I feel like he would learn a ton from Rodon and Fried, with them both being elite left-handed pitchers in baseball. And I feel like it's a really, really good fit for the Yankees. Is the price going to be high? More than likely. I think they're going to want one of our top prospects in return for Gore. Obviously, Gore is a return they got from the Juan Soto trade. So, you want to keep that going. Obviously, the Nationals got a ton in the Juan Soto trade. So, I think it's a trade the Yankees can definitely work out, though. I wouldn't really expect MLB talent to be traded unless we were getting one of their infielders in return, and they don't really have much other than CJ Abrams, so that's definitely not going to happen. So I would think it'd probably be Gore for a couple prospects. I'm not really going to name any prospects. I do think obviously they're going to ask about Jones. I don't think Cashman gives up Jones for Gore or Lombard Jr., but some other prospects are definitely in the mix, because I think Mackenzie Gore would be elite for the Yankees. I feel like he'd fit in Yankee Stadium really well. And honestly, the more lefties in the rotation, kind of the better at this point. That kind of eliminates that left-handed pull, line shot down the right field line. Although it's cool to have when you're the home team, the away team can do the exact same thing 81 times out of the season. So I think Gore would be a great addition. I feel like he would fit well. Let me get this up the screen now. He would fit very well, and the Yankees could make their rotation elite with Gore in that. I mean, Gore's going to be your 5 more than likely. That's insane, Mackenzie Gore. I mean, he was their ace last year, so Mackenzie Gore being our 5 would be really, really nice. Obviously, he was the ace for the Nationals, and the Nationals were horrible, but that being said, there is another trade on the table that the Yankees are apparently heavily involved with. They're heavily interested in, and that is utility infielder from the St. Louis Cardinals, Brendan Donovan. The Brendan Donovan situation is very interesting to me because the Cardinals want a big return for him. Brendan Donovan is very good. Brendan Donovan would be a perfect leadoff hitter for the Yankees. He's that contact-oriented guy that they want. Not a ton of strikeouts, can take walks, hits for average, hits about 280, usually over 280 every season of his career. He's a very, very good defender. He can play anywhere in the infield. The issue with Donovan for me is not... Yesterday, Cashman said we had a left-hand hitter problem. And Donovan is also a utility guy, which we already have 2 of, with Cabrera and Caballero. So it kind of doesn't make sense to me. And if that is being talked heavily, that tells me the Yankees are very, very likely to get off Cabrera or Caballero. I very highly doubt Caballero. I don't think Caballero has a ton of value, and especially when the Cardinals want a bunch back, and I think Caballero for the Yankees specifically is in high value. He definitely played better for the Yankees than he was on the Rays. He feeds off energy, and you need a guy who can run the bases and steal bags like that on your team. I think every team needs one, and giving up a guy like that, I don't think is in the Yankees' best interest, especially that, just like Cabrera, he can play every infield position, obviously besides first base, but he can also play the corner outfields, which is very valuable, and then Cabrera can play first base himself if they really needed him to. So it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and that tells me the Yankees are likely to get off either McMahon in some way. It wouldn't, as much as I hate to say this because I love him, it wouldn't surprise me if the Yankees got off Jazz, even though they said they're going to probably keep him, but maybe get off Jazz because he's going to be probably about 12 to 13 million in arbitration this year. It's very unlikely to me that Jazz they get off Jazz. Obviously, we're all saying, well, what about Volpe? What about Volpe? Volpe's not going to come off the books either. He's not making a lot of money. He's not going to make a ton of money in arbitration, and they still believe in him, unfortunately. So that's off the table. So really, what that tells me is that they're likely going to get off Rice or Wells. I think Wells is more likely than Rice because Rice has a ton of value, and the Yankees are going to want a big return for him. So I don't see that happening. For example, if we were talking about the Gore trade, I don't think the Nationals don't have a catcher the Yankees want, and it is very possible that the Yankees could look at a scenario where they trade for Contreras and Donovan. I just really don't see that happening either. Getting that right-handed hitting catcher in exchange for Rice, and then you go out and get another right-handed hitting first baseman along with signing Belly. But again, the Yankees don't have a ton of money to work with, so I don't see that happening either. It's very weird that they're so interested in Donovan. I mean, they talked about it quite a bit today, and the Yankees have been interested in him for a couple of years now. So I just don't see that happening, to be completely honest. The money's in the right spot for sure. Donovan doesn't make a ton of money, but I mean, I feel like the Yankees would have to get off 2 infielders in that scenario if they want to get away from a lefty, because Donovan is a left-handed hitter, so you're just adding another lefty to your already lefty problem that you have. So again, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, and I just don't see it happening, although the Yankees have said that they're showing much interest in it. Besides that, though, besides the Brendan Donovan stuff, the Yankees have talked to a couple relief pitchers. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the names right now. Let me look at it again. But they're in talks with 2 relief pitchers as of now. One being through free agency and another being through trade. So the Yankees have shown interest in free agent reliever Brad Keller. He was on the Cubs last year. Pretty good reliever, underrated reliever, I would say. Also, another note, Preston. I blanked on this name. Preston Claiborne has been named the Yankees bullpen coach. But the Yankees they're showing some interest in relievers. They have contacted the Brewers about Freddie Peralta and Trevor McGill. Trevor McGill would be awesome. He's elite in the bullpen. So that would be really, really cool. Either one of those guys would be nice. But again, these are guys that are going, we talk about all these trades, like Mackenzie Gore. If Mackenzie Gore happens, we're not getting Freddie Peralta, obviously, or Trevor McGill, or Brendan Donovan, because these are going to take top prospects out of our I would say out of our system, and we don't have a ton of top prospects. I know the Yankees are really, really good at making not great prospects look way better than they actually are. They've done that so many times in the past. I mean, Caleb Durbin, yes, he was good for the Brewers, but nobody really ever heard of him. He won Fall League MVP, and then he just blew up in value, and then the Yankees were able to get Devin Williams out of him. Obviously, Devin Williams was terrible, so that's really probably going to look like a bad trade in the end for the Yankees if Caleb Durbin is any good in the near future. But speaking of Devin Williams, Cashman also did say the Yankees didn't even offer him a contract. They were only in talks about a contract before he signed with the Mets, which tells me he had no interest in coming back. He did not want to go back to the Yankees. I mean, I feel like if he did want to go back to the Yankees or had interest in going back to the Yankees, maybe he would have went up there and said, this is what I was offered, counter, something like that. But I feel like the Mets have overpaid him a ton, so I don't see why he would turn that down. But again, yeah, the Yankees were in no talks to the Yankees didn't offer Williams a contract, and it didn't really seem like there was too much mutual interest on a return. So also I think it kind of slipped out of Cashman, but he also said when he said we lost Williams and Weaver, so that likely means Luke Weaver is not coming back as well, which sucks because I really, really liked Weaver in 24. To begin 25, he was elite, but they rushed him back from that hamstring, was it a hamstring or an oblique? I think it was a hamstring. They rushed him back from the hamstring injury, and he was really bad last year. After coming back from that injury, so a return is very unlikely. And I know before the season ended, there was many teams saying they were willing to give him a starting pitching contract, which was probably better fit for Weaver anyways for his terms, his career. Starting pitcher money is way better than reliever money, so I would, as much as I hate to say Weaver is gone, and I really like Weaver, but it's probably better for him that he does leave the Yankees, especially if he's going to get a starting pitcher contract. He's not going to get starting pitcher money, but he's going to get more than reliever money, and he's going to get an opportunity to, do what every pitcher does. Most pitchers want to start. You either want to be the best closer or you want to be the best starter. There's really no in between. So good for Weaver, and I hope that all works out for him. I obviously hasn't really signed anywhere. There hasn't been many rumors about him, but we shall see. And then the final little update I'm gonna give. I'm not gonna make this video too long because it's probably gonna be one out nearly every day. The final update I'm gonna give though is the Kyle Tucker update. So Kyle Tucker every single day seems more and more unlikely for the Yankees. The Yankees did state in a report, a reporter stated that the Yankees front office doesn't really have trust in Kyle Tucker like they have trust in Cody Bellinger. The report was that they know Bellinger in the long run can fit in New York and will play well in New York and will be determined to win in New York. For some reason, I don't know whether there's something they've seen out of Tucker or whether Tucker has said this in meetings or something like that, or something has thrown them off about Tucker, but they're saying that they don't really think like Tucker like that. They prefer Cody Bellinger in a long-term role over Tucker in a long-term role. And obviously Cody Bellinger is going to be way cheaper. Cody Bellinger is way better in the outfield. Cody Bellinger is also more athletic. He's going to steal more bases. Tucker's just a way better, he's just a better hitter at the end of the day. So I think Tucker is completely out of the picture now. Yankees aren't spending over $300 million on anybody this offseason. So I wouldn't even expect that. I would be surprised if they even gave out $300 million worth of contracts this offseason. So let alone give it to one guy, and he's going to get $450 to $500 million. So I'd be extremely surprised if there was a Kyle Tucker, talks or in any chance that Kyle Tucker came to the Yankees. I'd be very surprised. But that is all for day 2. Those are all the day 2 updates. There might be some little things that I left out there, but those are the major updates with everything. So if there's anything you guys are interested in me talking about, let me know down in the comments. Let me know down in the comments as well. Who do you want to see the Yankees sign or trade for? There's a bunch of stuff going on right now, and I want to hear you guys' opinions. I like hearing your guys' opinions. I don't get a ton of comments, but I try to respond to whoever comments. If it's like sayings. There's some Yankee fans kind of don't know what they're talking about sometimes, but that is where I'm going to end today. So as always, thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, night, whatever time it is for you. And as always, go Yankees.